On Speed Vision is presented by Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. People who know use Valvoline. And by the new Dodge. It's about change. Well, as you saw, it doesn't get much prettier than it does here in Central Ohio in the fall, and it is absolutely glorious. Here's a good look at some of the paddock area here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, and there is a good look at the gentleman who's going to lead the field off for H production coming up. A lot of different cars in this. One of the rarities nowadays is Austin Healey. Brian Lynn, one of the drivers, and Biz visited with him.
Well, the #6 H production is actually entered as the Midget Tuna, driven by Debbie Schreiner. Debbie, what is up with that entry name?
Well, in Tulsa, we have an engineer that helps us with the cars, Dave Jackson, and he built and ran a Formula Ford for about 5-10 years. And when we started building the new car, he offered to help, and as it turns out, it's the Tuna 4. Just another reel off of his Formula Ford. Did a great job of engineering, and we've really enjoyed the car so far.
Well, that's the fun part of the name, but actually you're a very serious racer. Been racing 11 years. You've been to the runoff 9 times. What kind of result are you looking at this year?
We're looking for the win. A little disappointed in the fact that we didn't get the new engine that we had hoped when we got here, and so we're going to end up running a motor that has some time on it, but we want to be there at the end, and we'll just see what happens.
Debbie, you have your own in-car camera here. It's a bit of a telltale situation. What's that all about?
That's a remote camera that we put in. It really helps with my driving style. My husband can help critique me, and that way I don't have to remember everything about what was going on with the temperatures and the gauges, and so it just helps him to help me get the car working better and do a little better job.
This H production, both the good parts and the bad will all end up on that tape.
Well, we visited with Brian Lynn a little bit earlier. We wanted to talk to Debbie Schreiner, and good thing Biz did. She was the divisional champion in the Midwest division with 5 wins in that machine. Had an exceptional year, and she's going to be taking to the track momentarily.
Only now, their secrets.
Vintage type cars in many cases, convertibles, ragtops, and here is the Valvoline H production starting grid. On pole, Steve Hussey, a great lap, puts him out front in the #37 Austin Healey Sprite. Then it's #7 Adam Malley. Then it is Brian Lynn, we visited with earlier. Ray Stone, a former champion in the category, #54, a multiple champion in the category previously. 41 Randy Canfield. Then it is Bartell. Ray Zeigler has won championships. These guys love racing in production. Drum, Debbie Schreiner, again, a great season in her division. And Lutz rounding out the top 10. Superb effort for them, and certainly for Lutz. Feller, very strong. John Salisbury, look at him, he's back at 12th, and he had more wins than anybody else in his category in Central Division. Childs, Hall Jr., Feinagel, Bolhalla, and Feeble round out the field. And again, we see a variety of different cars here, midgets, sprites, the whole kind of a thing. And then you see a tin top out there with that Honda. They really do mix it up.
Yeah, they do. Greg, I got to tell you, I ran H production in 1971, 1972, 1973, and there's about 5 of these guys that were racing H production then before I got going. So guys out there like Ray Zeigler and Randy Canfield, man, they've been out a long time.
Well, it seems once they get hooked up into a production class, they settle in, they love racing there, and we've got championship racing coming up here in just a minute. Back at Mid-Ohio, it is H production time. We are on board with our camera car. It is the pole sitter, #37, Steve Hussey, in a 1959 Sprite. And you can see the Huffaker there on the car. That is the Huffaker engineering firm that does an awful lot of work in a variety of classes. They do a nice job. Joining us is Mike Borkowski. Mike, nice to have you with us.
Great to be here.
All right, the H production cars working up, looking forward to a green. There's the onboard again now looking backward from Hussey's car. They come up. We are looking for the green. Up on the outside is Adam Malley in that Honda Civic. And looks like Hussey rolling onto the throttle. Green is out. He timed it very nicely. Going to see a lot of action behind him. That red car is 54 Stone. He takes a look. He moves in. And Adam Malley gets frozen out by #36, Brian Lynn, but stays right with him on the outside. Lynn finally able to take the position away. Look at Stone. He's trying to work the outside through the top of the S's, and he's got to smoke something emanating from the back of that car.
Yeah, the top guys, the qualifying in this grid was probably as close as any class except maybe Formula Ford and Formula V. The top 6 guys are right under a blanket. So you saw the inside row got a bit better jump down the inside. Brian Lynn was able to follow Steve on through into 2nd place. And now, again, they're just going to settle in and kind of size each other up.
Obviously, sometimes how you start depends on how the person directly in front of you in that starting order works out. There is the battle. That was Stone. There's Ray Yergler, number 87, started back in 7th. And really, he is part of that lead battle as well. It's a great grouping right at the front. Hussey, then Lynn, then it is 7 Malley, then it's 54 Stone, then it's number 4 Ron Bartell, and joining them is 41 Canfield, and here goes number 4 Bartell, ducks underneath Stone. Something's wrong with that car. We saw it, he's dropping something or smoking, and it looks like now he's losing a little bit of power as we look at Greg Feller, number 46. Hussey continuing to lead now into the chicane, heading up into the keyhole. And it is, he runs a little wide. I think that was by design. That's a line he's run all week long. There is 54, the red car of Stone. And there's the rest of the battle as well. And there's number 6, Schreiner, right in the thick of that second group. The car in front of her smoking a little bit, so Debbie's going to have to be a little bit careful. There's some spray coming off that car. That could create visibility problems and grip problems.
Yeah, and especially it's unsettling until you know exactly what it is. If it's just a little bit of water, no big deal. Oh.
Pass for the lead. There goes Lynn. Malley trying to go through with them. Hupperker's, or the Hupperker car of Hussey has to let Lynn go, but was able to defend enough to keep Malley parked behind him. But now we have a new leader. It's Bryant Lynn, again the South Pacific Division champion, and showing why. Good run there. Hussey second, Malley third. But Malley close. He's continuing to really work over that car. Lynn, he's easing away just a little bit.
You know, Brian did a perfect job of running off that keyhole corner, getting a good draft all the way down the straightaway and timing that pop out in the brake zone. No defending against it. Actually, it was a good move there. Bobby Gerald?
We're standing by with Tim Connors, who is the crew chief for Steve Hussey. Hussey was on the pole, has just dropped back into second place, and Tim taking a good look and getting ready to chart some times here. Did he say anything after he lost the lead?
No, he didn't.
Charting some times right now, and we saw you communicate with him right before the start. We'll let him go by. We saw you communicate with him.
Trying to keep him calm. This race is going to be won near the end, not near the beginning. I'm just trying to keep him calm.
All right, so they're set up for the end of the race. Tim Connors obviously concentrating a little bit more on talking to Steve Hussey, as he should be, than talking to us.
Well, Dorsey, you've run H Production, you said, for 3 years. Obviously, they think that there's tire wear, all kinds of things are problems in this one. Here's the battle for 6th. Going to watch that one, and that is 87 Yergler. He's chased by number 33 Lutz. Then it's number 6 Schreiner, and she's embroiled in a good scrap right now.
All 3 of these cars out of the Midwest Division, they race each other all the time, so they're real comfortable running close together. And you can see right now, here's a pass being made right now as Debbie's gone inside of Jay Lutz, and will take that position away.
So again, it doesn't matter if it's up front or if it's back in the pack a little bit. They are racing very hard. Oh, big lockup. And that was the car that was back behind that group, 33. Excuse me, that was Feller trying to make the move. Let's check in with Biz.
Mickey Schreiner, you have prepared one of the most beautiful cars in this paddock. Your wife has just taken 2 or 3 places on the opening lap. What's she saying to you?
She really doesn't talk very much. She concentrates on driving, and I just talk to her, let her know what she's doing on the track, how her times are. The only time I hear from her is when she's got problems.
Any strategy?
We didn't get to run our good motor. We have to run last year's motor, so she's going to hang in there and make sure everybody else stays honest. She'll be there at the end, though.
She'll be here at the end, out of trouble, and a little coaching from the pit lane by her husband.
Well, she's under attack right now by 46, Greg Feller, and he's a Sendiv driver and a midget, having a very strong effort as well. But up front, it is Lynn leading, then 37 Hussey, then 7 Malley. That's our battle. That's how close it is. Mike Borkowski, obviously, you said you moved here recently. I'm sure you've done a lot of testing, running obviously with Bobby Rahal. What is going on this track? Where are spots that these drivers are now going to be able to try and make moves?
Well, really, the runoffs layout, the only great passing place where the leaders are going to make moves is going to be the end of the back straight. It's a big passing zone, and it's a place we're going to try to block it. But the track without the chicane, which is what the Trans Am cars in the Pro Series run, gives another passing zone up into the keyhole. But right now, unless you're passing a slower lap car, it's going to be the end of the back straight.
Well, you were embroiled in a race a few weeks ago that looked just about this close. These guys are really on each other back here.
I have to admit, I was a little more comfortable with Mike on the pit lane than standing behind me in the broadcast booth.
Well, in the meantime, Adam Malley in that Honda Civic, which looks out of place in amongst all those Austin Healey spikes, giving a good accounting for himself in this deal.
Yeah, running very well, and it was a bit of a surprise. I mean, he's been quick throughout the season, but they sort of figured that it would be this car. Oh, there's John Salisbury, again the champion of the Central Division. He was back in the pack just a little bit. He's out of Gumi, Illinois, in that 1958 Austin Healey Sprite. And I don't know if he was able to keep it running. If he did, as soon as traffic clears, he can regain the track. But he's just going to back it off now a little bit, so he may have more of a problem than we think.
Look at the time that Adam Malley's making up under entering the carousel. Let's go down to Bobby Gerald for more.
Well, Ray Stone is already out of the race, Tommy, and Ray, what put you out?
I don't really know. It was running fine for about a lap, and then it just went on to 3 cylinders and couldn't get any consistent power, and I was just going to get in the way, so it was way too early to try to hang in there, and I was afraid it would come apart if I kept pushing it.
All right, probably a wise choice. Better luck next time.
Sorry?
That was a wise choice. Better luck next time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Ray Stone's out of it. Still smiling.
Well, again, a former champion, Ray, and a very talented driver, and obviously a very sportsmanlike driver.
Long-time competitor in H production as well. You know, these cars, I tell you, they are tweaked a lot. They don't have a lot of displacement. These things are only 948 cubic inches. It's about the same as a motorcycle engine, so they're really working hard. Talk about working hard. Look at Debbie Schreiner right here. She's working her way through the keyhole right now. She's down on power. She talked about not having a new motor. I mean, when they're down on power, 10 horsepower in a car like this, that's a big amount, and she loses every straightaway.
And there's Malley taking a look at Lynn. Not happening this time, but he continues to stay very, very close and continues to work him over. Now that lead car, a rear drive, obviously, you know, convertible roadster type car. The car following is a front drive Honda. And, I wonder what car here near the end of the race. We heard the race will be decided at the end. Does one have a distinct advantage the longer this race goes?
You'd think that the front drive car, if things got really bad slippery, would probably have a bit of an advantage. I don't see that happening per se. I don't think the track's that slippery that it's going to have an advantage. Power-wise, I think it's probably got more power, but it's a box going down that straightaway too, so aerodynamically it suffers pretty much when it gets up at the top end.
I think you've got a little psychological warfare going on here. That paint job on the Honda, the rising sun, I'm sure that's meant to work on the guy in front. The little kamikaze mentality, a little bit of that. Anything you can do to sow some seeds of doubt works in your favor.
Oh! That's number 33, Jay Lutz, who was in that, he was in 8th when this happened. He has slid off into the tires. Tires obviously doing their job, kept him well away from that guardrail in there, but one would have to suspect his day is going to be done. As, he's just giving signals to the workers. I think he's saying, that's okay, I'm going to get out.
Hard to say where that is.
He's saying, I'm going to move.
Here's a replay, I think, as, actually, that's above that jump turn. That's a different car, though. Here's 33 right here.
That was 46, and that's Feller who was oiling. I mean, he's been smoking a little bit. Maybe dropped a little something, and 33 right there, Lutz just got into the same part of track, and off it went. But again, look at the tires. They did the job. There's very little damage, if any, to that car.
Absolutely they did the job, because that's a real fast place right there, and he hit pretty hard. Looking back at the leaders, this is the straightaway. The Honda's a little bigger, but the defensive driving every time makes him go to the outside. You'll see he's coming into the brake zone now. Not much you can do with it.
And again, you mentioned the key word there, defensive, not blocking. I mean, as the leader, you can run any line you want into a corner. It's when you start weaving around and everything that it becomes problematic as far as the stewards go. And right now, Lynn is driving brilliantly.
Well, he's been consistent. Every time that happens, he's running to the inside, and that's okay.
All right, the battle continues up front. Let's check down the pit lane. Biz?
Tricia Muse, what's your boyfriend? You're the crew chief of the leading car at the national championships. What's he saying to you?
He's just trying to win his race right now. He's trying to concentrate on keeping his position in first place.
It's side by side out there. How well does he do under this kind of pressure?
He's very competitive, so he drives off of this. He'll do well.
He's thriving on it, guys. The more pressure, the better.
Well, and we just saw clear indication of that. Malley got up inside him and stayed there for a couple of corners, and Lynn was absolutely having none of it. Oh, here goes Malley heading into turn 1. You've got to get all the way up along the inside to make a pass here. He does. Let's see if he can hold it at the exit. Runs out. There goes Lynn. Squares up underneath, but Malley, boy, he set that up beautifully, executed it about as nice as it can get. Lynn takes a look. Not going to happen.
That's the right place for them to have made that move, because he is stronger on the straightaway, and of course this is entering the keyhole. This will allow him to take the Honda, use that power, and really extend the lead going down.
All right, and Malley, now he hangs on at the exit of the keyhole, got the run out he needed, so with that engine advantage, he might just be able to make this one work. Hanging on to it, drawn away a little bit now from Lynn. And there's number 33, Jay Lutz. He had stopped in the pits, Apparently they checked it over. The car's okay. He's going to head back out on track. He wants to see a little bit more of H production action. And there's your on board with third place. Once again, your pole sitter Steve Hussey, number 37 in the Austin Healey Sprite. And he's back there a ways, just out in the distance. You can see these two, a little bit of a speck out there. Number 7, Malley, being chased hard by number 36, Brian Lynn, first and second. And this is what, well, let's see here. Hussey under major pressure right now from number 4, Ron Bartell, as they come through the keyhole onto that front straight. And Bartell right there. Got a little smoke in the back of the car, but it sure doesn't seem to be affecting his straight line speed, his motor performance. Well, what a great view from that. Here we go, and you can see, look at that. Hussey knew he was coming and moved all the way to the inside and drifts out. Bartell takes a look. It's going to be a matter of, does he brake late enough? He does. He gets inside. Hussey, well, can't do it. Can't stay out with him. Has to tuck in behind, so that was a battle for position, and Bartell takes it over. Now Hussey's got to regroup a little bit and attack.
What a great camera shot that was. I mean, you got to see the draft in action right there. He closed right up underneath him and backed off. Now, we are seeing smoke coming out from underneath Ron Bartell's car, and you don't know what that is yet, but it could lead to problems up in the future.
You saw a little bit where the front car was able to, squeeze in at the kink like he's entitled to do, and oftentimes that's enough to head off the charge and make a guy reconsider, but Bartell was having none of it. I think he made up his mind about a lap before he was going by right then, and there was nothing going to stop him.
Boy, that camera angle looked a little bit like the movie Grand Prix. That was some great stuff. Here's number 7 now. This is Malley. Remember, he's only been leading briefly. He chased this gentleman here, 36, Brian Lynn, for a while. And he did get by, and once he did, he was able to open up the margin a little bit. But here's the pass, and Dorsey, you called it. You said it was just executed beautifully.
Well, he had to do it early so he could use the straightaway speed. This is going into turn 1. He drives it up the inside. He's alongside there, side by side through 1. And then he does a real good thing right there. He tracks out all the way and makes sure that he can't get a run. Although they're side by side right here. This is the apex of 1. Coming across right here, it's easy to get it repassed, but he did a real good job of holding it out. And then use the straightaway speed advantage he's shown to open this lead that he's got right now.
And again, I'm wondering if maybe a little bit here, the track has had an awful lot of activity on it for the better part of 2 weeks, a lot of sunshine today. And Mike Warkowski, maybe we're seeing some of the oil on the track, the petroleum in those oil products that bakes out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, throughout the weekend and with so many different classes out there, that's going to be a factor. The track will get more and more slippery when it's hot like this.
All right, Malley continues to lead strongly. Let's check in with Bob Jarrell.
Jay Lutz, in number 33, who we saw a little bit earlier in the race, is now out of the race. And Jay, what happened?
I was chasing another competitor in turn 11. Got it going backwards, exiting 11, and spun and backed into a tire wall on the inside.
The first time Jay was in the pits, we'll show you his rear view mirror had actually come loose. They had to put a little black tape on it. And take a look at the size of that rear view mirror. It looks like something you might see on a 6'4" Impala.
I think they call those a wink mirror, don't they? It's a very wide mirror. It gives you about 4 or 5, 6 different angles, so you can always see a car out there. Here's the battle for 6th right now. Actually 5th, that's Ray Yergler, number 87. He's sitting in 5th spot. And right behind him, once again, is number 6, Debbie Schreiner. They have been going at it since the start of this race. We are 9 laps in, 10 to go, and it's been this close for the entirety.
Yeah, I mean, Debbie's running a really nice race. She, even when she gets in a pack, she's being very, very tidy. She's not getting ragged at all, which is sometimes the tendency. You want it so bad, and here she's drawn up alongside. It looks like she's going to be able to pull them off. She's making it look easy.
Well, coming out of 15, looked like Yergler ran a little wide, got up in that curve there.
Yeah, he had 2 big old death wiggles out there. Both of them got crossed up. These little short wheelbase cars, when they get loose, so I can tell you what, they turn around real quick. He had to get out of the throttle, and Debbie didn't, and she drove it right up inside turn 1 there, and now has taken that position away.
Well, and now working through that chicane, and Yergler locks it up, almost got into the back of Schreiner, didn't. But, boy, he had to just dynamite the brakes to do that. She was obviously setting up for a nice exit out of the keyhole and brake perhaps a little bit sooner than Ray expected.
Yeah, I mean, you get frustrated. She got underneath him, and so your best chance to get right back by is right away, because if someone caught you from behind, chances are they're going to check out once they get by you. So that's one of these things. Again, they've been waiting all year for this. They've been waiting all week. They've been here for a long time. They're charged up. I said she was going to go away, and he's proven me a liar. He's coming right back at her.
Well, again, it's about a car length there in that battle for what is 5th position. Incredibly close action right now. And she's sitting there. Yergler, as you said, stays very close indeed. It isn't like she checked out, but the fact that it took her 9 laps to get by him would indicate that they're running pretty close in terms of speed on the track.
And now he's actually starting to show some smoke. It's one of these things where I think there was a couple cars separating them early on when they were in that chain of 4 cars, and she's been able to kind of slowly pick her way by. We've got some action up in the keyhole. We're going to take another look at
this. This is what happened once Schreiner made the pass, and watch what happens right here, Tom. Right there, that car just skates on him. I think he bopped her just a little bit. It was a light touch, but there's nothing he could do. He locked his brakes up. She remained pretty cool, I would say, under those conditions. Just held on to it through the keyhole and accelerated out. And now she's starting to get a little bit of room. That's 2 more lengths than she had a lap ago.
Well, they both, her and her husband, talked about the weak motor situation. And last time Yergler indeed did pull some on the straightaway. Of course, they're going right now up into the keyhole, which leads to that straightaway. So if that's his strong point, he needs a good runoff here. Now, last lap, he actually pinched the corner down and slowed his progress. This time, though, he uses all the track out, and that should be a good run. Now, if he's got a power, by the time they get down the end of the straightaway, he should have a run going on right here.
Tommy, you were talking about the smoke from Yergler's car. Some of these old vintage-style cars, essentially, if they're running an engine that they've been running for a while, things are a little worn, etc., they just tend to smoke just a little bit. Doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to make the race. Let's check in with Bobby.
Well, Mickey Schreiner is the husband of Debbie Schreiner, and Mickey, I understand things going pretty well for you so far.
Yeah, we're doing great. We've moved up to 5th place. We're 2 seconds faster than we qualified, and we've got our backup motor in.
2 seconds faster than qualified?
Yeah, she just went 2 seconds faster than she qualified.
Well, I think the backup motor becomes the #1 motor.
It kind of looks that way, doesn't it?
It sure does. What would you be happy with realistically here today?
I'd love for a podium, but top 6 will tickle us to death.
All right. They've got their fingers crossed down here.
Well, they're 5th right now, and boy, talk about a race phase.
And you know what? The weak motor isn't so weak. Yergler didn't have anything for her in that straightaway that time. He's getting her under braking as he's doing right here for the carousel. He's driving in a little bit harder, but she's getting the launch. Look at her pull off this corner. It's the thing we always talk about, fast in, slow out, He's getting in. Ray's driving in there a lot better, but he's not getting off the corner as well.
Well, and it isn't as if Ray Yergler, who's a former champion in this division, is shaking her one bit. She really, I think she knows she's got a car that can stay in front. Maybe not check out, but she's got a car that can do it.
That's the thing that stands out in my mind. Like I said, when she was in the big pack earlier, this is the biggest race of the year, but she's not driving like it's phasing her at all. Even with the guy with him all over. Oh, he makes another shot. He gave her a shot in the rear there. They actually got together just a little bit. Gave her a little wiggle, but she's gathered it back up and has gotten a good shot on the straightaway. So she's unfazed at all by any of the pressure.
Looks like it forced her offline a little bit, but then he ran wide and the back end stepped out, and he had to get out of it a little bit, cost him momentum down that straight.
I'm actually very impressed at how smooth Debbie is. You watch her, she's really keeping that car in check. Even with that little bump that she got right there, you're right, it pushed her out wide, but she gathered it up, did the right thing, and has continued on right there.
Well, she had 5 wins this season and winning the Midwestern Division Championship, so pretty good job. There's your leader, and he has been running very strongly up front. Adam Malley, our Dodge Race Reset. There he is, current leader. Again, Adam Malley, laps led 5. We've had 2 lead changes, and of course that's at the start-finish line. It has been a great race up until Malley got the lead finally with that great pass into turn 1. He's starting to check out just a little bit. He's found what he needs here, and Brian Lynn sitting back there a little bit. You don't even see him in the picture right now. Adam Malley has this one covered.
He sure does. And before the race, Steve Hussey was talking. He pretty much mailed the trophy to Brian Lynn. If you read some of the pre-race publicity, Steve is coming back from a big crash at Sears Point where he broke his leg and thought that Brian of the year under his belt would be the guy to beat. But here, Adam obviously didn't read the press clippings and decided to just go out and do the best job he could. And he has, built up a comfortable margin. It's obviously going his way. It's his race to win or lose.
He's down and read him and decided to do something about it.
There you go. Like I said, he gives that in pro football. You hear about bulletin board material. Yeah. That probably went right up on the trailer and said, "Okay, what about us? We're not chopped liver."
Yeah, let's focus here. Well, so there's Lynn. He's running in 2nd spot, but again, the margin is pretty stout right now that he's going to have to find something. We are down to our final 7 laps.
Yeah, behind him there, Ron Bartell is doing everything he can. That car is still smoking, like we said before. It certainly hasn't slowed up any, though. The gap between those two stays pretty much the same.
Yeah, Yeah, Bartell has been very impressive again as he not only worked his way by Hussey, but he has drawn in just a little bit. There he is, Ron Bartell out of Madbury, New Hampshire, third in the New England division. And he had, 2 wins, I think, this year in his Hoosier Valvoline Austin Healey's fight. So it's been a good year for him. Smoking a little bit, though, some problems. Let's check in with John Bizignano.
Well, Ken Farbach's the man who's responsible for that car. Number 4, Ron Bartell. The motor's smoking a little bit out there. Is that the way it runs?
Well, no, he started out the week kind of having a lot of problems, and it's all come together during the race. We're having a ball, the Valvoline Hoosier car.
Well, he's qualified 6th and running 3rd. He's turning some of the fastest laps all weekend.
Yeah, he is while he's out here today, and he's closing in on the second place car now. Just having problems with that Honda out there. It's fast.
Well, the Honda's fast, but they've got a strategy down here. A Podium looks maybe secure, they say.
Well, and Bartell is actually closing up, I think, a little bit more. Again, not in big chunks, but he's definitely starting to close up a little bit on Lynn. He may be able to pad that Podium if he can get around Lynn. Catching and passing, as we often say, that's 2 completely different things.
He's made up a lot of ground. We saw him go by Hussey earlier, and he's dialed Lynn in as well. So here we have this battle continuing. These guys haven't broken off at all. Guys and gals, I should say. That's their 5th spot again. And you have Zeigler not giving up. Deb went by him relatively easily when she put her mind to it, but he's hanging on. This is the spot where he really closes up. He's trying different stuff now. He's starting to go out wide to try to get a better shot off. But Deb, again, is unflappable. She's concentrating on getting off the corner.
Well, and it almost looks to me, Dorsey, in watching him exit that corner, that the back end starts to slide right as he gets about to make his launch onto the straight, and he loses some momentum.
Well, that's kind of the fast end theory. He is faster in the middle of the corner than she is, but because of that, the car does, in fact, step out. He can't get on the throttle as much because he's not squared up. She squares up and gets the squared. Look right here, under braking. He's underneath, or he's trying to get underneath. This is going to be a good battle right here for the rest of the race. I guarantee you that.
Well, we've already seen that Zeigler certainly willing to get in there and rub a little bit if he needs to try and force something to happen. And there's Ray Zeigler, again, an MG midget, very talented driver. Ankeny, Iowa's Ray Zeigler. Let's check in with Bob.
Ron Benson is the guy hanging out with Raymond Zeigler today, and he needs a couple more hands. Check out Benson. He's got watch in one hand and then a stopwatch in the other hand, and he's keeping the times down here on a pad of paper, and he's also showing Zeigler the lap times and all. He's got all kinds of stuff going on. Mike, it looks like you could use a couple more hands down here.
I messed it up.
Oh, it was just as I said. Mike, I was saying it looks like you could use a couple of more hands down here to keep track of all this stuff.
Yes, I just messed it up. Now I got to keep track of how many laps we run.
I'm sorry about that. And it is Ron Benson. Ron Benson. All right, Ron, we'll stay out of your hair and let you do your thing here, man.
Well, obviously, we were talking about it earlier. This isn't pro competition. These are national amateur drivers, and sometimes your crew is one person. Boy, but I tell you what, Zeigler, look at that. He is real, and there goes again. He just loses a little bit of momentum right there at the exit of that keyhole.
See, she gets the launch. She squares up and gets a little bitty jump on him there. Now that'll magnify as they go down the straightaway. He's pushing real hard on corner entry and mid-corner. You'll see him down here. He's going to try to outbrake her and get down underneath. He'll make up his ground right here, but he'll lose coming off this corner. Oh, now he's actually got a good run. Nah, not good enough. He's a little optimistic on the pull-out.
He's getting killed off the corner, yet he's still there before they go to the brake. So that backup motor is probably just enough off. Like you said, it only takes 5, 6, 7 horsepower to make a difference. And now, if he could set up and just be a little bit more patient and not slide out mid-corner like that and really get a better shot coming off, I think he'd be close enough that he could pull alongside before they got to the brake zone. But it's easy to say sitting here in the booth.
She is making it tough, though. I mean, she is not making mistakes. She's smooth every single lap. It's not easy to have somebody fill your mirrors like that, lap after lap after lap. And she's just hanging in there. I think she's going to hold off.
Well, I think the key word there is smooth. I mean, she's not making any mistakes. She may not be in certain spots as quick as Ray, but she is giving him absolutely no place to do anything, although he thinks about it, and she just shuts. Well, she's also determined, obviously. Well, she just shut the door.
It's really awkward the way the two of them are driving right now, and the worst awkward spot is up there in the keyhole because Ray goes in there with so much speed, and I don't know that she knows that her wider approach to that is letting him have that little spot. Now he's getting desperate as lap is run on here, and he's gonna put his nose up in there like he did right there, and it could be catastrophic if they don't get it work out.
Well, again, as you said, we're running out of laps. 16 of 19 done, so we are getting down our final 3 laps. Here comes Ray, and again, boy, he gets in there, and Tommy, he is so close to the back that there's not a lot he can do about it, and there's that little bit of a slide again.
Yeah, same sort of thing. I mean, it's hard to tell yourself not to do it, but if he would just crack it just a hair in the middle, let the car rotate a little bit more, and be able to come off closer to her, I think his car is strong enough on the straightaway, that might be all it takes, but you know, he knows more about it than we do. Bobby, do you have more information for us?
I'm just down here with my guy, Benson. I'm getting ready to help him out. We knew that he needed some more hands, so I'm giving him 2 more hands here, and I will flash Zeigler the sign here, the plus 19, next time he comes around. We got about 4 laps to go. We gave that to him last time, so we're taking care of him.
Bobby Gerald with the soft hearts.
Well, he made the guy mess up, so I mean he owes him already. He did fine until Bobby went down there and had to say, hey, well, need more hands or what? And he messed up the whole day.
So it's a guilt thing.
It's a guilt thing, yeah, absolutely.
Well, and Debbie continues to fend off the attack of Raymond Zeigler. You can see that it just doesn't change. He is as close as he ever has been. And remember now, we're coming into the carousel. Here's that left-hander, and right here he was able to close up. Think about it. I think she's got a little bit too much of a gap. Right now, he dives in. No, not happening. So they come out of the carousel, and there he is, our man, Bob Gerald. Crew member Raymond Zeigler comes up, says
his first real job. How about it?
Look at the form. Look at the form on that. Would you even give him the go? Go get him.
Well, I think he's got a future.
I'll tell you one thing right now. With
Vanna White, look out.
3 laps to go. Debbie needs to start being a little bit more defensive. She needs to quit leaving those doors open because Ray knows how many laps are left, and he's going to put that front end right alongside her quarter panel here if she leaves it open. And here's one of the spots that it happens all the time.
Here he comes right there, and again he's all over the back. Well, he gapped it a little bit there, and maybe right. Look at that big slide. And you know the key here, I got to ask Bobby Gerald, does he know what that plus 19 was? That'll tell us if he's got a future as a crew member.
He had 19 seconds behind the guy, right? Is that what it means?
19 ahead, but ahead behind, who's counting?
Gentlemen, look what happened. That was a big lurid slide by Zeigler that time, and it hurt.
Yeah, it's a case of discipline. That as for the concrete in that corner, look how close he is. He makes it all up before they hit the end of the straightaway. If he would give himself a little bit of a chance coming off the corner, it's hard. It's easy to say and it's hard to do. But the concrete there is really, really slippery, and Debbie is doing a brilliant job of being disciplined and waiting till the last second to pull the trigger.
Adam Malley having a strong run. Look at that. He is up front, and he continues to just gap 36 Lynn in second in that battle that is back there. Well, excuse me, Bartell is really working over Lynn, but Malley has just got things covered here. Here's the battle for second, and it's a battle. Look at that. That's 36 Lynn. And that's in an Austin Healey Sprite. Right behind him is the MG Midget of number 4, Bartell. They are at it, hammer and tongue, George.
Ron Bartell has caught up that whole gap. We got a couple laps to go, and now it's a big, big battle for second place.
And again, working through the chicane up into the keyhole. And look at that, Bartell thinks about the move. Whoa, that was about as close as it gets. What can he do?
He's close enough. I mean, if he gets a run right now down the back straight, he is plenty close to make the move.
Yeah, he's in the draft right now, too. You see already the moving around, trying to position for this end of the straightaway braking duel here.
And Brian is consistent taking the inside like he was earlier in the race, and that's also right where Bartell was able to get by Hussey, so they both want the same piece of real estate.
Well, we saw that Bartell entertained thoughts of the inside. The Lynn stayed put, so that's number 4, Bartell swung wide. But it's almost like he missed the apex there. He swung out so wide, he almost ran out of track.
Well, it's one of those things where you're on the inside, but you don't want to get out broken on the outside, so you carry it in as deep as you can. He got in a little too hot and had to use every inch of road just to keep it on. But in a way, that also does the trick because it keeps the guy from getting up next to you.
Well, and again, that smoke looks like it's getting a little bit worse, but it certainly doesn't seem to be hurting performance at all at this stage. And let's go back and look at that. Zeigler got by Debbie Schreiner, but look at her, she's coming right back. And Zeigler, the inside line, going to pay off there. Boy, this is one of those situations where maybe if you follow you can run their pace and make moves off of them, and then in the lead, just revert.
Yeah, it's funny, like we said, right when she first got by, we said, well, chances are she'll check out, but she caught him once and will go away. And that just seemed to light a fire inside Zeigler, and he pounded on the door for a long time, finally got by. I was going to say earlier, if he got any closer, that's borderline sexual harassment.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Here's the battle for second. We're going to check in there. Lynn hanging on as we are on the final lap, white flag lap. Here's Bartell. Lynn drifts a little wide. Bartell again thinks about it. So close to a nudge there. Coming onto the straight. Oh, and looked like both of them had a little bobble.
Yeah, they got a good run off there. Both of them have a real good run off there. The draft's going to help Bartell for sure. As he's going to go down here, you're going to see a little weaving around. He's ready to make the move right now. He's ready to make the pop. Here comes the brake zone. You know he's going to have to go outside. He's looking to the inside. Knows he can't. Now he's to the outside. He's using too much road up. He's popping way too far out wide. He's using up too much space. Here he's going to try to get underneath. This one's not over yet either.
This one could end up in a pile.
Yes, it could.
Brian Lynn is obviously doing a little driving in the old mirrors right now. There's no question. And he's got, about a third of a lap that he's got to hold off Bartell. Bartell is, well, he dropped back just a little bit, but he may be thinking something here. Maybe down into the entry to the carousel.
It's going to take a mistake for him to get by.
Meanwhile, here is your leader, Adam Malley, out of Conyers, Georgia, champion in the Southeastern Division, the Pro Import Services Honda Civic, onto the front straight, and national championship in H production for Adam Malley. Wasn't picked to win it, was picked for a podium. Had something to say about it, paid off. Here's that battle for second. Bartell coming up, literal head of steam as he comes onto that front straight. Not going to be enough.
Not going to be enough, but what a good showing at the last right there. Bartell making up that gap and really having a good run. Both those cars loose off the keyhole and a good run down the straightaway. That was a real good race for those two guys.
Here's the battle we've been following throughout. That is number 87, Zeigler in 5th, number 6, Schreiner in 6th. This is the last time into the carousel for these two, and Zeigler has managed to open up just enough of a margin. Here comes Zeigler onto the front straight. Remember now, her husband said they would be delighted with a top 6, and that is exactly where they finished. He clocks it out, and he's chatting with her, no doubt saying, nicely done, no question. So good job there. There's a look at the gentleman who finished 4th, our pole sitter Hussey on board. Camera car for us during the race and the Huffaker engineering machine, and I was pretty happy there with 4th. I think obviously would like to have been in the podium, but good run for him, but ecstatic inside that number 7 Honda Civic. Sort of a duck out of water as you were talking about, but it swam well.
To my knowledge, that's the first win in H production for anything but one of those sprites in a lot of years.
I would think so.
Of course, we remember way back when the Morgan won, when Totally Rutnoff used to go, but it's been a sprite-dominated class, and here a Honda comes up for a win.
Absolutely great run for number 7 Adam Malley as he claims the H production championship in his 1974 Honda. We'll be back to visit with him.
Can we use a rigid ladder-type frame to reach new heights in performance? Can the cab-forward concept create more room, even in the trunk? When it comes to what you'll expect down the road, do we have things pretty well covered? These are the questions. This is the answer. Dodge Stratus. Starting under 14.4, 18.4 impressively equipped.
Some of the most admired cars you'll see are owned by the guys who know cars best. ASC certified master mechanics. And the #1 brand of motor oil they use in their own cars is Valvoline, makers of Durablend, the leading semi-synthetic for a cleaner engine due to better control of harmful deposits. So use the oil the guys who take care of your car use to take care of theirs. People who know use Valvoline. Take the wheel on the new Valvoline website. It's worth the ride.
You know, ideas and inventions come from people in all walks of life, and most of the century's top inventions came from individuals, not companies. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? Are you interested in trying to submit your idea to companies for a good faith review and in trying to patent it as well? If so, Invention Submission Corporation has information to help you get started. ISC is America's largest inventor service firm with over 50 offices nationwide. Call this toll-free number now to see how to get this free information. The information includes forms to assure confidentiality, a form to record and date your idea, plus an informative brochure that explains how to submit your idea to companies through ISC's data bank and how to apply for a patent. Even if you only have an idea for improving an existing product, you'll want to call now for ISC's free information.
For your inventor's information, call toll-free 1-800-269-3388. That's 1-800-269-3388.
Once again, back at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, live coverage of the SCCA Valvoline Runoffs here on Speed Vision. And there's the gentleman who just claimed a national championship. in the H production division. Here is your provisional top 15. Adam Malley, and that Honda takes the win. Brian Lynn and Ron Bartell, superb battle. Steve Hussey, after a good start, ended up sliding to fourth. Kind of a lonely race for him. Number 87, Ray Yergler, was at war throughout. Held on for a 5th place finish. He had to do a late race pass over number 6 Debbie Schreiner to get there. Randy Canfield, kind of a quiet run for Randy considering his past history. John Bulhalla, John Salisbury had some problems but stayed in their top 10 finish. Phil Childs ends up in 10th spot. Good run for Phil. So again, H production action. And here's your final group of 5, 11th through 15th. Feller, Feinagli, John Hall Jr., Jay Lutz, who again was able to get back into it briefly, and then Ray Stone, who had problems early on. But at the front, it was Adam Malley from Conyers, Georgia. Again, just a superb drive. Let's check down in the pits with John Bizignano. Biz?
Brian Lynn has brought his beautiful car 36 into this pit. And I'll tell you, Brian, there are no black and blue marks around this car. I've seen a lot of tire marks on a lot of cars today. Such a close race and no one running into each other.
Well, we might want to look at the trunk because I did get a little bump in the keyhole about 2 laps to go from our 3rd place finisher. So there is a mark back there. I don't know how bad it is, but we're 2nd and we're happy with that.
Well, in the Open, you said you wanted to go for a win, but what a great race, what a great day of competition for you.
Well, we got to lead for a little bit, which was one thing that we wanted to achieve here. The Honda just has too much power for us right now. So it's kind of a race for 2nd as I see it.
Well, these type of cars have dominated this particular class for the last 2,000 years, and all of a sudden this Honda Civic comes out of, I don't want to say out of nowhere because he's one heck of a competitor, but there was no way once he got by, he was gone.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because it's new to the class, and I think there needs to be some adjustment to the rules because the level of preparation for that car may not be the same as some of the other fast cars and sprites.
Well, you have a winner to think about it.
Yes, we do.
He's looking for some advantages through rules. I'm sure you know a little bit about that, Bobby.
Sure we do. I'm all into the rules now. I'm a crew guy. See, I've got my P5 here for Ray Yergler. My guy, I guess if he's my guy, I ought to learn how to say his name, huh? Ray Yergler, who did a nice job, started 7th, finished 5th, and me, Ray, and Ron, we're a good team here. Nice job, Ray, 7th to 5th. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. That was about the hardest I've ever had to drive for a 5th place, but we were a little off on power, and we knew it before we came out. We've been having troubles all week, so we're happy with a 5th place finish.
Were you reading your pit sign okay?
I couldn't find them. I kept waiting for that lap sign because I had that one car leading. It got around me because she could draft me, and but I knew I could beat her into the turn at the end of the straightaway as soon as I needed to, and I wanted to wait till the last lap, and I kept thinking, where's the laps, boys?
Well, we saw Ron, and I think Ron needs a few more hands. Ron Benson, your crew guy, he's got a watch, a stopwatch, a notebook, and he's trying to give you the pit sign all at one time. Have you ever considered getting a little more help in the pits?
Yeah, I did have more help, but he couldn't make it this week, so.
Okay. All right, well, congratulations. 7th to 5th, a nice job for Ray Yergler and Ron Benson, the crew guy. Biz?
Adam Manley is all over this pit, shaking hands. I've never seen anyone so happy. My God, this is the little Honda that could, man.
Yes. Oh, man, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
How much does this mean to you? A whole year trying to get here, and you get here, you have some competition the first few laps, and then you just run away with it.
I love it, man. I love it. My friend John Kaufman helped me build the engine. The guys at the shop, Gary Groves, Chris Mason, excuse me. Oh, God.
How was the drive?
Oh, awesome. I seem to be able to get out of 13 better than they could in 1, and a lot of fun.
But the biggest advantage looked like down the straightaway. I mean, yes, the car handled extremely well, but boy, once you got past these guys, they were gone.
Once I could get the power down and they're not in the way, I could go. Oh, man, that was fun.
How are you going to celebrate tonight?
I have no idea.
I think the celebration's already started.
Yes, it has.
Congratulations. You are a national champion.
Thank you. God, yes.
He's about to lock up.
Yeah. One day he's going to learn to cheer up. Obviously deserved it. I mean, it was an absolutely great run. And again, let's talk a little bit about that car. It was great horsepower, but I've got to wonder about all the all the action and the rubber and the sun and all that. If that front drive didn't play a little bit of a key.
Well, it's hard to say. He's the only guy out there running it, so it's hard to get a gauge on front versus rear. But to me, I mean, obviously it was good down the straightaway, but it wasn't like some of the ones we saw earlier with that Sunbeam and so forth. I mean, he was getting the job done everywhere. And it's nice to see the kind of enthusiasm. we get kind of jaded in these days. Let's go down to Bobby. He's got more for us.
Debbie Schreiner, Tommy, is standing next to me, and she really worked hard today. She started 9th and finished 6th, and your husband said you'd be happy if you got up in the top 6, and big smile, looks like you are.
I really am. Worked really hard. Ray and I had a great race. Admired Ray for many years. Always seemed to come in second to him, or at least behind him, and it was really a great run, and we're just glad to be there at the end. Had to run a motor. We had a lot of time on this year. Motor didn't come in. Parts didn't come in. Weren't able to get to run a new motor here, but we were glad it finished, and we'll come back next year.
Now, this is the SCCA runoffs. It's an amateur level of racing right now. How serious are you about your racing, and would you like to move on and do some more things professionally, maybe?
Yeah, I really admired Deborah Gregg when she raced in Trans Am. I had the opportunity to meet her in '89 when I ran the runoffs at Road Atlanta, and that'd be something great. That would be, just really neat to get a chance to do something like that.
You'll be back here next year?
Oh yeah, you bet. Hopefully in the #1 spot.
All right, Debbie Schreiner has something to shoot for. Husband Mickey down here as well. Very happy as he admires the job that his wife did.
Well, that was absolutely a great job, no question about it. Ray Hurgler said he's never driven that hard for 5th in his life, and she's the reason. They had a great scrap.
Yeah, they did. I mean, that was kind of the highlight of the race. Look at the excitement here, the enthusiasm. That's what the runoffs is all about. Like I said, they're here because they want to, and you don't see that kind of enthusiasm in IndyCar and Formula One.
Oh, man, he is absolutely pumped, and his crew doesn't look exactly unexcited either. Look at this. They are excited. There it is, your provisional top 5. Malley, Lynn, Bartell, Hussey, and Yergler. We'll be back.
I come from a big family. My family is so big, I never got to sleep alone until I was married, as a matter of fact.
America's favorite.
And he just really made it happen, forced his way in.
I didn't know it was full of bombs. Mega bombs! We never even saw it coming. Where'd everybody go?
A friend of mine said I should try America Online. So I did. I've gotten help with my golf swing, I've planned my next vacation, even get stock price updates every 15 minutes. America Online puts over 100 newspapers and magazines right on my screen. I've got worldwide email, point-and-click internet access, and a great web browser. Plus, new features keep getting added. Call the toll-free number and you'll receive your free startup kit and 10 free hours to look around. It's worth a try. You'll see.
Start an adventure. Nightline's personals will take you there.
Hello.
I'm glad I caught you.
You have definitely caught me.
How's 523 Beach Drive?
20 minutes?
You got 10.
On my way.
Listen to ads or leave your own. Retrieve messages from your voice box or forward them to your home. Dive into Nightline 24 hours a day.
College hoops in the South. All-around game. What could be the best hoops in the land. Check it out. SEC basketball. Only on Sports South. Wednesday nights and Saturday nights. All season long. Shaking, baking, jumping, double pumping. All the stops, hops, and big-time blocks. If you're not watching the SEC on Sports South, you're missing the biggest games around. Y'all ready for this? SEC basketball on Sports South and Media One.
Think, Beavis. By the time the sun comes up, we will have solved the mystery of Morning Wood. We could rule the world.
Yeah, we're gonna be rich. And get chicks, yeah.
Are you sure we've got everything?
Yeah, we've got like Stuart science stuff, and some, food, and, some, stuff.
What's that?
What? Nothing.
Come on. Give me that, Beavis. Whoa, cool. Spank magazine.
Yeah, April.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks. Check out page 63.
Damn it, Beavis, this isn't scientific. It'll only give us artificial stiffies.
Oh, yeah.
Now we've got serious work to do. Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go.
This is so rich, so flavorful.
I think that's that Connie Schlong chick that called the president's mom a bitch on TV.
Oh, yeah.
A cardboard box.
Okay, I'll be the mouthpiece this time for the youth speak. But sex.
Butt sex?
It's got me this time. Just I got mine. She's so fine.
How come that guy's wearing his mom's coat?
I think that's your mom's coat, Beavis. I think he's wearing it to show that he did her.
Oh, yeah. What a slut. Whoa, look, they're all wearing them.
I have one of those coats in my closet right now.
You know, you should go easy on my mom, Bucket.
Isn't she already easy enough?
Enough. I'd like to talk about roller coasters for a minute.
Okay, Beavis.
You know, like, sometimes when you're on a roller coaster and it feels like your nads are floating inside your sack?
Yeah?
Well, that gives me a special feeling. I also get that on elevators sometimes.
Oh yeah, me too. I kind of get a special feeling in my butt cheeks when an elevator goes down.
Yeah.
That looks kind of like Conan O'Brien.
Oh, yeah. I heard he has a gigantic schlong.
No, you're thinking of me, Beavis.
No, I was thinking of me, actually.